네, 먼저 본 컨퍼런스 시작하기에 앞서서 잠시 안내 말씀드리겠습니다. 본 컨퍼런스는 한국어와 영어 동시 통역으로 진행될 예정이오니 테이블 위에 있는 리시버 인이어를 착용해 주시기 바랍니다. Before the seminar, may I have a quick announcement, please? Simultaneous interpretation is available for today's seminar, so there's a device on your table. For Korean, use channel 3, and for English, use channel 4. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Colombia Country Day. Colombia and Korea's strategic partnership in energy transition and hydrogen will finally start writing history from today. My name is Jisoo Lee, the moderator for today's event. 안녕하십니까? 한국 콜롬비아 수소 전략 파트너십 세미나에 오신 모든 내외 귀빈 여러분 반갑습니다. 콜롬비아와 한국의 에너지 전환 및 수소 분야의 전략적 파트너십이 드디어 오늘 역사를 쓰기 시작합니다. 저는 오늘 사회를 맡은 이지수입니다. 반갑습니다. This event is organized by ProColombia, the official Colombian government entity in charge of fostering trade, foreign investment, and tourism of Colombia worldwide, together with the Hydrogen Chamber of Colombian National Assembly, Association of Enterprises Andi plus Natrugas, and sponsored by the organizing committee of H2 Meet. The goal of this seminar is to present the potential opportunities that Colombia offers in energy and hydrogen sector to showcase the country's landscape and strength, not just in the region, but worldwide. Also, we have to honor to count with the participation of 4 leading companies, including Ecopetrol, FEM Energia, AES, and EPM. Without any more delays, we will begin Colombia Country Day with the welcoming speech of H.E. Alejandro Peleas, who joined this assignment in July of this year. Ambassador Peleas has 23 years of experience, professional career in the public and private sector in Chile, India, and Brazil. His professional experience included leading roles in ProColombia Commercial Office in New Delhi, São Paulo, and Zone America Colombia in Cali. So please welcome Ambassador to the big round of applause.
Distinguished guest, Mr. Jae-do Moon, Chairman of the Korean Hydrogen Association, Mr. Julio Cesar Puentes, Vice President of Investment of ProColombia, Ms. Karen Peralta, Director of the Hydrogen Chamber Andi Naturgas, Ms. Shirley Vega, Director of ProColombia Korea, and distinguished businessmen from the AES, Ecopetrol, EPM, and FEM Energia. It's an honor to greet you and welcome you to Colombia Day H2 Meet. I would like to express my special gratitude to H2 Meet Organizing Committee for this opportunity. As you know, the world is facing an unprecedented climate crisis. The production of use of fossil fuels and are the main drivers of climate change. It is necessary to find more sustainable alternatives. Colombia has a great potential for the production of green hydrogen. The country has abundant renewable resources, such as solar and wind energy. In addition, Colombia has a well-developed energy infrastructure, which facilitates the production and transportation of green hydrogen. In 2022, Colombia invested $5.5 billion in projects for the production and demand of green hydrogen. I invite the government and Korean companies to continue working together to promote cooperation in the development of green hydrogen projects, which are essential for Colombia to achieve its decarbonization and Sustainable Development Goals. I want to remark that Korea is the only country in Asia with a free trade agreement with Colombia. This means that the HS codes for hydrogen and ammonia are zero tariff, as well as ethanol. Also, it's very important to mention that Colombia and Korea has a double taxation agreement. This double taxation agreement is a very important tool, especially for services that are involved in this important industry. Today, to strengthen this alliance, we have the participation of the Hydrogen Chamber of Andy Naturgas, who has brought a delegation of the leading companies in the energy sector of Colombia, who are now leading the hydrogen sector. These companies are Ecopetrol, which is the most important and the biggest company in Colombia, the national oil and gas company, Colombian company. EPM, which is one of the power energy companies that Colombia has. And furthermore, it's important for all of you to know that this company is not only located, doesn't focus its operation 100% in Colombia. It also has regional operation in different countries in Latin America, which with this remark, what I'm trying to tell you is that if you do business with EPM, it's an entering to Latin America. It's a gate to Latin America. And FEM Energy and AES, which are private companies that are investing heavily and doing partnerships with different countries, with different companies, and are aiming to become a very important player in the region. We have the honor of being the first Latin American country to hold a Country Day in H2Me event. Through this space, the opportunity will be taken to achieve the decarbonization goal and to turn Colombia into one of the leading countries in the sector. Colombia launched its hydrogen roadmap in 2021 with the support of the IDB, the Inter-American Development Bank, which projects an internal demand of Colombia of between 1.6 to 1.9 million tons of hydrogen in 2050, with a solar potential that only in the region of La Guajira reaches 42 gigawatts. If all this renewable potential were exploited in the production of green hydrogen after its conversion, up to 3.2 million tons or 5.8 million tons, including offshore potential, could be obtained. Therefore, there is a possibility of meeting the hydrogen demand of Colombia by 2050 with the potential offered by renewables. The following is going to be the agenda of companies that are going to present the Colombian opportunities. Mr. Julio César Puentes, Vice President of Colombia, is going to follow my remarks, after my remarks. Ms. Karen Peralta, Director of Andy Naturgas. Then Francisco Barba, Head of the Low Emission Business Development of Ecopetrol. Juan David Rincón, CEO and co-founder of FEM Energía. Luis Arras, Green Hydrogen Managing Director, International Business Unit, AES. Ana Catalina Ochoa Yepes, leader of Green Hydrogen Research Projects, EPM. So that's the full agenda we are going to have. What are we trying to achieve in this event? First of all, to seek strategic partners for the development of the hydrogen sector in Colombia. Secondly, boosting the sector of the country. And finally, to achieve the decarbonization goals of 2030, 2050. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ambassador. Now allow us to introduce Mr. Chae Do-moon, Chairman of H2 Korea, who will deliver the congratulatory remarks. H2 Korea is a public-private consultative body established by the Korean government in 2017 to develop the hydrogen industry with the aim to achieve an early transition to the hydrogen economy. In 2020, H2 Korea was also designated as Korea's hydrogen industry promotion agency and currently has over 100 members, including many companies and organizations, including energy companies, equipment manufacturers, research institutes, and government agencies. Please welcome Mr. Chairman Jae Do-moon with a big round of applause.
Thank you for your nice introduction. Good afternoon, Ambassador, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jae Do-moon, Chairman of H2 Korea, as introduced by MC. Congratulations on hosting Colombia-Korea Strategic Partnership in Energy Transition and Hydrogen today. This event is a momentous occasion for two countries to discover cooperation opportunities to achieve carbon neutrality. Ambassador Alejandro Pelas, I am very much grateful for your very warm welcome remark. I also would like to thank to Pro-Colombia H2 Chamber of ND and Natural Gas for organizing today's event. Distinguished guests, honorable participants. We are facing a serious climate change resulting from fossil fuel consumption. It is globally accepted that clean hydrogen will be a critical role to reduce greenhouse gas emission in the future. Colombia is well known for its hydropower capacities, rich solar and wind power that can be converted into clean hydrogen. 2 years ago, ministers from both countries met and agreed to cooperate for net zero targets through vast amount of green hydrogen produced from Colombia in the future, while Korea supports with the hydrogen mobility and related infrastructure. Last year, H2 Korea held a webinar event with the Colombian government and the Colombian Hydrogen Association together to beef up the cooperation between two countries in the hydrogen areas. In line with this, I have agreed with Pro-Colombia to sign an MOU between two parties to boost up the governmental and the private cooperation in hydrogen sector. Korea has the cutting-edge hydrogen utility technology and globally recognized as a leading country in the future hydrogen economy, utilizing existing energy infrastructure and manufacturing capabilities. In the meantime, Korea needs to import clean hydrogen and ammonia in the future to achieve carbon neutrality. I couldn't stress enough about the importance of Colombia for hydrogen cooperation and to achieve a net zero target in Korea. I hope today's event marks a solid milestone for private companies from two countries to discover more cooperative models of business. Once again, I would thank you all to be here for this precious event. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Chairman. Taking the opportunity have the support and alignment of government promotion entities to foster partnerships between Colombia and Korea in the energy transition and hydrogen economy, we will have a significant MOU signing ceremony between Pro-Colombia and H2 Korea. This MOU is signed with an aim to strengthen the cooperation between Colombia and Korea in the energy sector, especially in hydrogen. Let us invite Mr. Moon and Mr. Julio Cesar Puentes, Vice President of Investment of Pro-Colombia, for the signing. Please give them a big round of applause. The government of Colombia has chosen energy transition as a key national priority. along with agriculture, infrastructure, circular economy, and healthcare. ProColombia, as the business promotion agency of Colombia, is actively promoting these sectors worldwide. The MOU between H2 Korea and ProColombia will foster new business opportunities for Colombian and Korean companies to enhance the economies of both countries. Please give them a big round of applause. Thank you. Now we will start the first session. The first speaker is Julio Cesar Puentes, the Vice President of Investment of ProColombia. ProColombia promotes the exports of Colombia for an investment and country brand. As mentioned earlier, the government of Colombia has put renewable energy along with the energy transition as the key national priority. Colombia's hydrogen policies will provide new business opportunities for Korean companies and also worldwide with the goal of achieving carbon neutrality by 2050 and becoming the top exporter ally in South America. Now, Julio Cesar Puentes, Vice President of Investment, will give his presentation. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Well, what can I say after that? Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Ambassador, Alejandro Peláez, Mrs. Shirley Vega, Director of the Colombia's office in Korea, Mrs. Karen Peralta, Director of Andy Chamber of Hydrogen and Natural Gas, Monica, Director of H2 Colombia, another business association that we have in the country, Juan David, Francisco, and Maria Camila, Horacio, Camilo, and other friends, welcome. First of all, I want to express my gratitude with all of you for being here and also for the people that is today with us. Thank you very much for being here because that demonstrates that you want to know a little bit more about what is happening in Colombia and why we are doing this and why we are signing a MOU. And I would like to start with that. Long time ago in Colombia, we started dreaming that we can build a different country, apart from the war, apart from the guerrillas, apart from the violence, be a feasibility society. And we have started working very hard on that. And the bet on energy transition is a bet on that purpose. We really believe that promote and foster industry like this is going to give us an opportunity to continue building something different in our country, also continue to building a future for our kids. I am the father of 2 daughters, and I'm so excited to be here today. Well, I'm going to share with you a couple of things why I really believe that Colombia is a good destination to do business, especially in industries like this, related with the energy. As you know, Colombia is a country that is located in the middle of the Americas. 6 hours from New York, 6 hours from Sao Paulo, with a wonderful climate. I know, you said, this is in the middle of the equator. Yes, but I have a wonderful system of mountains that cross our country to south to the north and give us the chance to have different climate floors, different weathers. And believe it or not, the capital, Bogota, is a city that is all the time in a beautiful kind of spring, but a lot of rain. Yeah, I know. But it's a wonderful city. You can play golf with an air condition all the time. That is fantastic. And the people is really lovely. The city has around 9 million of inhabitants, similar with Seoul, but a little bit different because we don't have subway, but we have a beautiful system of public transportation that is composed by articulated buses. And this is the first news that I want to share with you. Guess what? The majority of that fleet is moved by electric cells, lithium. We have the largest fleet in Latin America, moving using decarbonization initiatives in this site, public transportation, and we have the largest fleet outside China, 1,500 buses. Well, you say, really? Yeah, that's real. Apart from that, let's go now to get deeper in our presentation. And this is a little glimpse to show you that we really believe in this, and we are doing things that you can imagine. And our idea with this event is show to you that there are a lot of things happening in Colombia. We are not only a mess, we are a reality right now. Now we are the third biggest economy in Latin America after Mexico and Brazil. And be careful, because we are continue growing and we are continue doing the things well. As Mr. Ambassador mentioned, we have a double taxation agreement with Korea and also a free trade agreement that we need to explode more. We need to take advantage of that things that we have, that tools that we have, that we are not taking advantage of that. I want to enforce that message. In Colombia, we're building the foundations for being more competitive in this industry, especially in hydrogen. We already have a roadmap. This morning, I got the chance to see a presentation of the H2 Colombia team. Wonderful presentation, very clear presentation, and I invite you to see also that presentation. That is very interesting for our purposes in ProColombia. And we are building the foundation. What we do first, the first thing that we did in Colombia was to build a roadmap, build a vision for the long term. What we want 2030, what we want 2050. We set up the legal framework. Sorry, I have a presentation. Okay. Perfect. We start building a legal framework composed by 2 laws, 2 decrees, but at the point is we are building the foundations to have a competitive environment to strengthen and work in the hydrogen industry. Second of that, you know what? Colombia was a blessed country. Colombia has been blessed. And has been blessed because we have the resources for produce the energy that we need to produce hydrogen. Why that? Why do I say that? Because what do you need to produce hydrogen? Energy, but of course. But what kind of energy? Renewables. Guess what? Colombia has not only the potential to produce solar, wind power, hydro, biomass, and geothermal. But the problem that Colombia has is that has a lot of that in abundance. We don't have a scarcity there. The only scarcity that we have is the technology that you already have here in Korea. For that reason, I would like to invite you to work together. And as I heard yesterday in the middle of the gala dinner, one of the hosts, when he was doing the toast, says, the world of hydrogen is a huge world with a lot of opportunities, and if we can be successful in that world, we have to work together because there are space for everyone and for everything. And I really believe that. We have enough resources. In solar, we surpass the world average solar radiation. In wind, our wind speed is between 9 to 12 meters per second. In hydro, I mean, we have enough water, I guess, to feed the world. Biomass, a lot of potential. And geothermal, well, what can I say? Apart from that, the other thing that you need is a competitive environment. In cost terms, or speaking about cost, Colombia is the 4th lowest production or has the fourth lowest production cost of green hydrogen by 2050. Today, seeing this rank provided by the International Renewable Energy Agency, we are fourth. The only country that is above us in Latin America is Chile. But here we have a Chile really close to us. And I am completely sure and confident that we are going to be more cheaper than Chile in the coming years. Be prepared, Luis. we are going to you, behind you. Okay. And I don't want to be more extend about this because the other presentation that the companies already have here and is going to share with you has a lot of information, and I don't want to repeat all the argument because I know I don't want to get bored you, but I would like to end just underline a couple of things. What we have to offer as a country. First of all, we have a roadmap, we have a vision, and we have a clear vision of what we want. We have a plan. Second, we are working in a framework. Third, we are working in close the gaps. Fourth, we have we are building a business ecosystem, and a little glimpse of that is the company that are already here with us is Ecopetrol, that is our largest and biggest company, and I am truly convinced, and I really believe, and Luis is not going to make me say lies, that has one of the most bigger projects in hydrogen in whole Latin America right now. Well, if you were thinking that Colombia is not prepared, Colombia is ready, and Colombia is going to rock. And I invite you to be with us. And I would like to end with a couple of remarks. The first of all is why ProColombia is signing this agreement, and is because our main mission is to be the link entre entrepreneurial side and the government side. We are the light in the darkness. Wow, sounds really good. But it's true. Our main mission in ProColombia for the last 20 years is promote our country, invite to the people to believe in us, to have confidence in us, and also trust in us. Our main mission is be that bridge that close the gaps between those that doesn't believe in us. And my last remark is invite you to visit us in November. We are going to have the Colombian Investment Summit. And in this opportunity, we're going to do a road trip around the different regions in our country in order you can feel the pulse of the vibrant economy that we have. Once again, thank you very much for being here, for giving me this opportunity to talk with you a little bit more. And with this MOU, Mr. Moon, we are putting the first step in a long stair that we have to get in up. And thank you for believing in us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we will have the presentation on the introduction of ND plus natural gas hydrogen chamber. The National Association of Businessmen, ND, is a nonprofit association that aims to promote and foster the political, economic, and social principles of healthy free enterprise system for almost 80 years of experience in different sectors. Now, Mrs. Karen Peralta Baran, the director of the ND Natural Gas Hydrogen Chamber, will give us a concise presentation on the Chamber's objectives in the renewable energy sector, especially in hydrogen sector. Please. Please give her a big round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ambassador of Colombia in South Korea, Mr. Peláez, Sir Jae Moon, President of H2 Korea, Mr. Julio Puentes, Vice President of ProColombia, all representative of companies that come here today. Thank you so much for your time and for accept this invitation to the Country Day. I'm honored to be here before you today to present the opportunities that Colombia offers in the hydrogen value chain. My name is Karen Peralta. I'm director of Andy Naturgas Hydrogen Chamber. We are an association that represent the 50 most important companies in all hydrogen value chain. We are in a strategic partnership between the National Business Association of Colombia, Andy and Naturgas, that is the Colombian Natural Gas Association. Andy Naturgas Hydrogen Chamber works to promote all hydrogen value chain like a driver of decarbonization and the sustainable development of Colombia. I'm going to talk about the Colombian's potential and the objective that we have by 2030 year and 2050 year. First, we know about the global shift towards renewable and sustainable energy sources. The world is at a critical point addressing change, and hydrogen is the forefront of this energy revolution. Hydrogen will to contribute with 10% of greenhouse emission reduction by 2050 year. Hydrogen is a carrier that can be produced by different methods: renewable hydrogen, blue hydrogen with CCUS technologies, and white hydrogen. Colombia has all the possibilities to produce all colors of hydrogen. Colombia has natural resources and geographical advantage, stands poised to become a key player in the global hydrogen market. Here, some key reasons why Colombia is an attractive destination for hydrogen investors. Colombia has exceptional renewable resources. In the north of the country, in La Guajira, the wind speed is twice the world average, and it also exceeds the world average of solar radiation, which make it an ideal location for renewable hydrogen and power-to-X production. Second, strategic geographical position to export. Geographically, Colombia is located to serve as a gateway for hydrogen trade with the Americas. Colombia, with access to Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, we can facilitate the exports of hydrogen. In addition, the main ammonia routes transit through Colombia. Water. Colombia is part of top 10 countries that concentrate 46% of the water supply around the world. Government support. The Colombian government is fully committed to fostering the growth of the hydrogen sector. Pilot projects, tax incentive, the hydrogen roadmap, and different policies are being developed to attract investors in this sector. Right. Colombia has a range of resources and potential advantage to produce green, blue, and white hydrogen. These different types of hydrogen are produced using different methods and can play a significant role in the energy transition of the country and the world. Green hydrogen produced with renewable sources. Colombia has several sources that make it that conducive to green hydrogen production: solar, wind potential, and hydropower. Blue hydrogen. Blue hydrogen produced from natural gas with CCUS technology, which mitigates greenhouse gas emission. Colombia has a substantial natural gas reserve and the potential to develop CCUS technology. Why? In Colombia, there are several geological formations for carbon capture and storage as a critical component of blue hydrogen production. And white hydrogen. Colombia is investing in research and development to explore the feasibility of white hydrogen in some regions. Now, I would like to talk a little bit of the incredible potential of solar energy in Colombia, particularly in the north of the country, in La Guajira. This region receives some of the highest solar radiation in the country and in Latin America. This natural advantage focuses the Colombian Caribbean as a powerhouse of solar energy generation. In the Colombian Caribbean, there are few cloudy days per year. This consistent solar radiance makes it a prime location for solar projects. Colombia is commitment with the energy transition. In the last years, we are increased the photovoltaic solar energy capacity from 1 megawatt to 200 megawatts. About wind power, as I said before, Colombia has one of the best natural conditions of onshore and offshore wind power. Colombia Caribbean coastline has abundant energetic wind resources with a total technical potential estimated at more than 100 gigawatts and estimate net capacity factors around 70%. However, taking into a consideration social, environmental, and technical issues, the potential development is estimated around 50 gigawatts, equivalent to 2.8 times the total existing generation capacity in the country. In addition to solar and wind potential, Colombia has two promising sources of renewable energy, geothermal and hydropower. These resources will provide us continuous and clean electricity to produce hydrogen. Colombia has high geothermal potential in the center of the country, and hydropower is a significant asset for Colombia. Right. As we look to the future, the combined potential of all energy resources represent an incredible opportunity for the country to the energy transition and decarbonize the economy, both local and global. In Colombia, industries like refineries and fertilizers demand around 150,000 tons of hydrogen per year. We expect that this demand by 2050 year ramp up 10 times and diversify applications in heavy transport, aviation, and other industrial activities. And with the natural resources, Colombia could produce 4 times the local demand to export. All these exceptional resources has positioned Colombia like fourth most competitive country in the world to produce green hydrogen, the second in Latin America, according to the International Renewable Energy Agency. Colombia could produce hydrogen around $1 per kilogram. So we need to cooperate to reduce the electrolyzer costs to increase the efficiency of this kind of technology. So we are here for this reason. We need to cooperate with Korean companies in these kind of challenges. Other aspects associated to the cost of the final cost of hydrogen is the cost of capital. It's necessary work together to create a financial schemes to improve this kind of mechanisms to produce green, sustainable hydrogen with good conditions. The good news is that, The good news is that public and private sector are working together in order to build a strong hydrogen ecosystem. A few weeks ago, Ministry of Energy in Colombia published the draft version of the Just Energy Transition Roadmap. In this roadmap, they established different scenarios. And the just energy transition scenario, hydrogen has a relevant role to decarbonize transport and industries. In addition, according to the roadmap, Colombia not only expects to increase the demand of hydrogen in strategic sectors, also Colombia plans to increase the goal of electrolysis capacity to 25 gigawatts by 2050 year. So hydrogen in demand is the blue line at the top. So it's a significant role for the energy transition established by the government. So Colombia has defined a complete strategy, a complete hydrogen strategy. In 2021, Colombia includes hydrogen in the energy transition law and extend the tax incentive to green and blue hydrogen. Colombia has developed a strategy to deploy low-carbon hydrogen, both for domestic and export markets. In 2021 was launched the Hydrogen Roadmap with 60 priority actions to achieve the goals by this year. In addition, Colombia is taking concrete steps to achieve our hydrogen goals. We have 7 pilot projects to demonstrate the feasibility of hydrogen use in different sectors, including transport, industry, and power generation. Moreover, we are committed to advancing our hydrogen production capabilities, improving energy efficiency, and reducing the carbon footprint of our hydrogen supply chain. Colombia hydrogen industry ambition for the coming years will be to develop large-scale projects and production of hydrogen derivatives such as methanol and ammonia to domestic and export markets. Together, we will make it possible. Now, Colombia is looking for a strategic partnership with the aim to transform challenges into opportunities and contributing to global environmental goals. Colombia recognizes the immense potential of hydrogen in our pursuit of a sustainable and clean energy future. We are determined to take a leading role in the global hydrogen economy. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you for your speech. So, ladies and gentlemen, we will now have a short break for 10 minutes, and after the break, we will commence the second session under the theme of Hydrogen Plan for 4 companies. 네, 10분간 휴식 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다.
What is the most beautiful thing about Colombia? What is its true beauty? People are everything. And while sailing a river that runs through the jungle becoming the sea, you can hear more than 65 indigenous native languages. How is a country not going to be beautiful when in it you can taste a different fruit every day of the year? Thanks to the hard work of our farmers who bring food to the table of Colombians and tables of the whole world. We are proud of our 3 mountain ranges, but much more of our cyclists who conquer them in the longest mountain peak in the world. Here, the wind brings an aura of progress. This same wind talks to 1,900 species of birds and tells them which tree they need to reach in order to be seen. Our beautiful islands emerge from 2 oceans, and from our islands, a new union is born. Look at our mountains, and look at the acres that remain to be cultivated. And speaking of green, breathe, breathe easy, because we are a lung of the world. We live in midst of the beauty that changes every day, where the past, the present, and the future coexist in every region. A generous beauty for everyone wishing to see it. Who comes for business ends up staying for pleasure. Who comes for pleasure finds business opportunities. This is our invitation. Come for the first time or come back from wherever you are and tour the country to continue discovering Colombia, the country of beauty. What is the most beautiful thing about Colombia? What is its true beauty? People are everything. And while sailing a river that runs through the jungle becoming the sea, you can hear more than 65 indigenous native languages. How is a country not going to be beautiful when in it you can taste a different fruit every day of the year? Thanks to the hard work of our farmers who bring food to the table of Colombians and tables of the whole world. We are proud of our 3 mountain ranges, but much more of our cyclists who conquer them in the longest mountain peak in the world. Here, the wind brings an aura of progress. This same wind talks to 1,900 species of birds and tells them which tree they need to reach in order to be seen. Our beautiful islands emerge from 2 oceans, and from our islands, a new union is born. Look at our mountains, and look at the acres that remain to be cultivated. And speaking of green, breathe, breathe easy, because we are a lung of the world. We live in midst of the beauty that changes every day, where the past, the present, and the future coexist in every region. A generous beauty for everyone wishing to see it. Who comes for business ends up staying for pleasure. Who comes for pleasure finds business opportunities. This is our invitation. Come for the first time or come back from wherever you are and tour the country to continue discovering Colombia, the country of beauty. What is the most beautiful thing about Colombia? What is its true beauty? People are everything. And while sailing a river that runs through the jungle becoming the sea, you can hear more than 65 indigenous native languages. How is a country not going to be beautiful when in it you can taste a different fruit every day of the year? Thanks to the hard work of our farmers who bring food to the table of Colombians and tables of the whole world. We are proud of our 3 mountain ranges, but much more of our cyclists who conquer them in the longest mountain peak in the world. Here, the wind brings an aura of progress. This same wind talks to 1,900 species of birds and tells them which tree they need to reach in order to be seen. Our beautiful islands emerge from 2 oceans, and from our islands, a new union is born. Look at our mountains, and look at the acres that remain to be cultivated. And speaking of green, breathe, breathe easy, because we are a lung of the world. We live in midst of the beauty that changes every day, where the past, the present, and the future coexist in every region. A generous beauty for everyone wishing to see it. Who comes for business ends up staying for pleasure. Who comes for pleasure finds business opportunities. This is our invitation. Come for the first time or come back from wherever you are and tour the country to continue discovering Colombia, the country of beauty. What is the most beautiful thing about Colombia? What is its true beauty? People are everything. And while sailing a river that runs through the jungle becoming the sea, you can hear more than 65 indigenous native languages. How is a country not going to be beautiful when in it you can taste a different fruit every day of the year? Thanks to the hard work of our farmers who bring food to the table of Colombians and tables of the whole world. We are proud of our 3 mountain ranges, but much more of our cyclists who conquer them in the longest mountain peak in the world. Here, the wind brings an aura of progress. This same wind talks to 1,900 species of birds and tells them which tree they need to reach in order to be seen. Our beautiful islands emerge from 2 oceans, and from our islands, a new union is born. Look at our mountains, and look at the acres that remain to be cultivated. And speaking of green, breathe, breathe easy, because we are a lung of the world. We live in midst of the beauty that changes every day, where the past, the present, and the future coexist in every region. A generous beauty for everyone wishing to see it. Who comes for business ends up staying for pleasure. Who comes for pleasure finds business opportunities. This is our invitation. Come for the first time or come back from wherever you are and tour the country to continue discovering Colombia, the country of beauty. What is the most beautiful thing about Colombia? What is its true beauty? People are everything. And while sailing a river that runs through the jungle becoming the sea, you can hear more than 65 indigenous native languages. How is a country not going to be beautiful when in it you can taste a different fruit every day of the year? Thanks to the hard work of our farmers who bring food to the table of Colombians and tables of the whole world. We are proud of our 3 mountain ranges, but much more of our cyclists who conquer them in the longest mountain peak in the world. Here, the wind brings an aura of progress. This same wind talks to 1,900 species of birds and tells them which tree they need to reach in order to be seen. Our beautiful islands emerge from two oceans, and from our islands, a new union is born. Look at our mountains, and look at the acres that remain to be cultivated. And speaking of green, breathe, breathe easy, because we are a lung of the world. We live in midst of the beauty that changes every day, where the past, the present, and the future coexist in every region. A generous beauty for everyone wishing to see it. Who comes for business ends up staying for pleasure. Who comes for pleasure finds business opportunities. This is our invitation. Come for the first time or come back from wherever you are and tour the country to continue discovering Colombia, the country of beauty. What is the most beautiful thing about Colombia? What is its true beauty? People are everything. And while sailing a river that runs through the jungle becoming the sea, you can hear more than 65 indigenous native languages. How is a country not going to be beautiful when in it you can taste a different fruit every day of the year? Thanks to the hard work of our farmers who bring food to the table of Colombians and tables of the whole world. We are proud of our 3 mountain ranges, but much more of our cyclists who conquer them in the longest mountain peak in the world. Here, the wind brings an aura of progress. This same wind talks to 1,900 species of birds and tells them which tree they need to reach in order to be seen. Our beautiful islands emerge from 2 oceans, and from our islands, a new union is born. Look at our mountains, and look at the acres that remain to be cultivated. And speaking of green, breathe, breathe easy, because we are a lung of the world. We live in midst of the beauty that changes every day, where the past, the present, and the future coexist in every region. A generous beauty for everyone wishing to see it. Who comes for business ends up staying for pleasure. Who comes for pleasure finds business opportunities. This is our invitation. Come for the first time or come back from wherever you are and tour the country to continue discovering Colombia, the country of beauty. What is the most beautiful thing about Colombia? What is its true beauty? People are everything. And while sailing a river that runs through the jungle becoming the sea, you can hear more than 65 indigenous native languages. How is a country not going to be beautiful when in it you can taste a different fruit every day of the year? Thanks to the hard work of our farmers who bring food to the table of Colombians and tables of the whole world. We are proud of our 3 mountain ranges, but much more of our cyclists who conquer them in the longest mountain peak in the world. Here, the wind brings an aura of progress. This same wind talks to 1,900 species of birds and tells them which tree they need to reach in order to be seen. Our beautiful islands emerge from two oceans, and from our islands, a new union is born. Look at our mountains, and look at the acres that remain to be cultivated. And speaking of green, breathe, breathe easy, because we are a lung of the world. We live in midst of the beauty that changes every day, where the past, the present, and the future coexist in every region. A generous beauty for everyone wishing to see it. Who comes for business ends up staying for pleasure. Who comes for pleasure finds business opportunities. This is our invitation. Come for the first time or come back from wherever you are and tour the country to continue discovering Colombia, the country of beauty. What is the most beautiful thing about Colombia? What is its true beauty? People are everything. And while sailing a river that runs through the jungle, becoming the sea, you can hear more than 65 indigenous native languages. How is a country not going to be beautiful when in it you can taste a different fruit every day of the year? Thanks to the hard work of our farmers who bring food to the table of Colombians and tables of the whole world. We are proud of our 3 mountain ranges, but much more of our cyclists who conquer them in the longest mountain peak in the world. Here, the wind brings an aura of progress. This same wind talks to 1,900 species of birds and tells them which tree they need to reach in order to be seen. Our beautiful islands emerge from 2 oceans, and from our islands, a new union is born. Look at our mountains, and look at the acres that remain to be cultivated. And speaking of green, breathe, breathe easy, because we are a lung of the world. We live in midst of the beauty that changes every day, where the past, the present, and the future coexist in every region. A generous beauty for everyone wishing to see it. Who comes for business ends up staying for pleasure. Who comes for pleasure finds business opportunities. This is our invitation. Come for the first time or come back from wherever you are and tour the country to continue discovering Colombia, the country of beauty.
Ladies and gentlemen, did you all enjoy the break time? Hope you refresh yourself during this time, and let us begin the second session. The second session is on the hydrogen plan and vision of 4 main representative energy transition companies of Colombia. The first speaker is from Ecopetrol Group. Ecopetrol is an integrated oil and gas company of Colombia. It is the largest company in Colombia by market capitalization and the largest oil producer in the country. Ecopetrol has operations in Colombia, Brazil, Peru, and the United States. Ecopetrol's main activities include exploration, production, refining, and marketing of oil and gas, and it has a growing renewable energy business. Now let us invite Mr. Francisco Barba, head of the Low Emissions Business Development Department of Ecopetrol Group, to the stage and hear his presentation. Please give him a big round of applause.
Well, 안녕하세요. Good afternoon. Well, thank you very much for being here today and to take the time to listen a little bit of the story of my country and my company. Well, I am representing Ecopetrol. As was saying, Ecopetrol is the oil and gas company. It's a state-owned company in Colombia, and it's the biggest company of my country. Our Okay, sorry. Thank you. Okay, it's better? Well, talking about my company, we have three business lines right now. The traditional business line that is hydrocarbons products, because we are specifically talking about E&P, and in the downstream also, we have two refineries in the country. So our barrels per day, we are exploring or producing 700,000 barrels per day in the traditional business. The second business line is the low emission solution. This is actually a new business line we have in the company because we have a commitment with the energy transition, not only for the company, but for the country. So we created a dedicated business line for low emissions in the last year, and now the EBITDA of this business line is representing more or less 15% of the company. The third business line is the transmission and roads line. Ecopetrol recently, 2 years ago, acquired ISA. ISA was the main electricity transport company in Colombia and with presence in South America and Central America. So now the Ecopetrol group involves not only the E&P business, oil and gas traditional business, but electricity transmission and low emission solutions. About our strategy, well, we declare our strategy for 2040, and the main important value of our strategy is that we declare that between 30% and 50% of the EBITDA is going to be from low emissions business. In addition to that, we are expecting to have net zero emissions by 2050. So this means that we are really committed with the decarbonization and energy transition in the country. What about energy transition? Well, in this slide you can see maybe two important data on that. The first one is that we declare that until 2025, we are looking for include at least 1 gigawatt of renewable energy for own consumption. It means that our oil activities are going to be powered by mainly by renewable energy. But on the other side, we declare that we are going to produce at least 1 million tons of green hydrogen or low emissions hydrogen until 2040. What it means? Producing 1 million tons, if you are talking about green hydrogen, well, producing 1 million tons means more than 10 gigawatts of installed capacity. So if you check the capacity of the country, the total Colombian country has 20 gigawatts of electricity capacity today, or installed capacity. So we are looking for at least increase by 50% the capacity or the installed capacity in the country in the next maybe 15 years to reach our goals of 1 million tons per year. So when you were seeing the numbers at country level about the consumption of hydrogen, it means the main consumption is in our refineries, but when you were looking for the country goals, it means the main goals are looking for or are being structured with Ecopetrol. So Ecopetrol is going to be the main partner for every company that wants to go to the country to produce green hydrogen. So, talking about this 1 million tons of green hydrogen, well, we are looking for get at least $400 million of EBITDA out of this 1 million tons. So we declare that we are going to reach this in 3 horizons. The first horizon was only for own consumption and the prototypes that we had. This first horizon that is looking to be ready until 2030 involves the first prototype that we already put in operation last year, the second prototype that we are putting in operation right now this year for mobility, and two mega projects. We declare mega because we are talking about two industrial scale green hydrogen projects. Both of them are 60 megawatts each one. It means 9,000 tons per year, and are going to be in our refineries for own consumption. Today, Ecopetrol is producing more than 90,000 tons per year of gray hydrogen. We are specialized on managing hydrogen in general because for the refinery, for our process, we need hydrogen normally in order to make hydrotreatment to the fuels. So for us, managing with hydrogen is not a new story. We have been producing hydrogen for more than 10 or 15 years, and now we are looking for replace 10% of the gray hydrogen by green hydrogen with these two projects. What about hydrogen in general? Well, we are looking for 4 areas of applications. Well, the first one is in our operation. I already told about that. But the second is mobility. So we are in a pilot process with one car in Colombia, and we are really looking for increase the demand in general and improve the market of hydrogen and mobility in general, because we need to create the market looking for getting off-takers for our hydrogen. So we are involved in these pilots of mobility right now, and we are completing the first fuel station of hydrogen during the next 2 months in Colombia. The third topic is the gas blending. We are making some studies and evaluation to mix until 10 or 15% of hydrogen in the gas transport. So in Colombia, we are the owner or we are producing 85% of the gas of the country in our oil and gas business. And now we are looking for decarbonize a little bit using this kind of blending. And this is one activity that we are in the middle of the story right now. And the fourth scope is definitely export business. So for export business, we are looking for have this 1 million tons until 2040, and mainly is going to be for export. Colombia, as you see in the other presentations, has really, really important recourse or renewable recourse, especially in La Guajira, the zone in the north of Colombia, where we have really important or good wind speed between 9 and 12 meters per second, with really good capacity factor between 55% and 65% of capacity factor in wind. So access to the sea, access to water, and really a strategic location for put a new hydrogen or ammonia complex or hub to specifically to export business. Talking about our mega projects, or our first project that we are structuring right now in a large or in an industrial scale, well, this is located in Cartagena refinery. In Cartagena, we are using today 90,000 tons of hydrogen per year of gray hydrogen, and we are looking for produce 9,000 tons per year of green hydrogen. Let's talk about challenge on this kind of projects. I think it is important to check because there are not too much projects under evaluation or under development right now. We are expecting to sign the joint development agreement with 2 or 3 partners in each project during the next 2 months. We are working with Siemens Energy, Total Eren, Mitsui. In the other project also we are working with EDF and Northern Power. And we are really jointly efforts to afford all the challenges that we are facing today to produce green hydrogen. So what is important to note here about challenge, because we have recourse, or wind recourse, or solar recourse, but depending on application, I think the main challenge is definitely electricity supply and electricity cost. You know that renewable sources of electricity are really variable. So in addition to have recourses to generate electricity, you have to deal with several changes in the capacity and in the production of energy. So you have to, depending on the application of the hydrogen, you have to think on how to deal with that. So first option, well, it's possible to put a storage facility. Okay, it's possible, but it's really expensive. Today, it's not possible to make feasible a project with the storage of energy. It's really, really expensive, as it's not possible with the technology we have today. So second option is to export energy excess or energy in excess. So if you want to export energy in excess, you need a connection point to the grid. Normally, if you have these kind of projects really far away in one site in the country, you don't have this kind of point of connection points to the grid. But definitely, it's the more efficient way to make feasible these kind of projects. In addition, for this application in the refinery, since we need really quantity of hydrogen really stable during the year or during the day, because the process that uses the hydrogen for treat the fuel needs to have really stable hydrogen, you need energy from the grid. But to be really green project, you need energy from a green source also. So you can sign PPAs with green certificates, but the next challenge is that until yesterday, you don't have really authorities that certificate the energy to you. So we as the industry are facing really challenges talking about which is green, which is certificated, who certificates this energy, and how to manage this kind of certifications, because you cannot grant that the same electron that is produced in the solar farm, I don't know, 200 kilometers away, is the same electron that you're going to use in your project. So you need to like compensate or net the electricity to really get green hydrogen. So technical challenge are okay. You need water. You need to treat this water also. You need to deal with this water, trying to not increase the water waste. So for our refinery, we are reusing the water from the refinery and making and passed through a really important treatment process. And in addition, well, you need to sell this hydrogen. Fortunately here, we are using this hydrogen for our own consumption. But today, depending on the price, you are not gonna get off-takers in quite small scale of hydrogen production. Because if you check this scale of hydrogen production of 9 tons, you will get, for example, talking about ammonia, you only will get more or less maybe between 40,000 or something like that tons per year. And you cannot find a Haber-Bosch process. Haber-Bosch is the process to convert hydrogen in ammonia. You cannot find a Haber-Bosch process in a competitive price for this size of project. So for this reason, this kind of project that seems to be an industrial scale project is not enough to export business. So next challenge is to scale these kind of projects to a really export scale business. So besides to make a project of 60 megawatts, you need at least 1.5 or 2 gigawatts to really scale the project. Let's talk about other challenge, financing, for example. Yeah. Banks, in general, are not used to work with this kind of technology because it's a really new technology. You know, normally in a project finance way, you need to have like proven technology. Why? Because normally when the bank put the money for finance the project, of course, you need a really good off-taker, check, because the collateral is going to be of the off-taker. But on the other side, you need a really good contract for buying the energy. It's okay. But in the middle, you have the operation risk. And the operation risk depends on the technology. So this technology, since it's not a new technology, because of course this kind of electrolysis technology is a technology maybe for more than 10 or 20 years, but in an industrial operation is really new. So you have to convince the banks that put the money in these kind of projects where operation risks are important at some point. Because if the electrolyzer is not working well, you cannot monetize this hydrogen, so you are not going to pay the bills. So this third challenge is really important to address from the beginning to structure this kind of projects, and we are in the middle of that. Yeah. Talking about the scale, let me introduce Guajira or Guajira region in general. We are not talking about here a specific project we have right now. We are talking about potential that we have in our country. La Guajira is a really good location to make a business or make a green hydrogen project there, because in La Guajira, we have really good wind or wind speed. We have really good capacity factor, and we have the sea over there. So if we want to put a hub of green hydrogen production plus ammonia or something like that, you have access to the sea with a port and go through the Panama Canal and go directly to Asia. On the other side, you can go to USA or to Europe directly from La Guajira. So La Guajira has a really strategic position, and let me say an additional important topic there. We are constructing right now a transmission line that is connecting the north point of La Guajira until the south point in order to export energy to the rest of the country. So remember the challenge where we were talking about the export of energy needs in order to be more efficient project. We in Colombia, in 2 years, are going to have a substation in the north of La Guajira with a transmission line until the south of La Guajira that could help us to mitigate this kind of excess of energy from the wind sources. So we have connection point, we have the sea, we have water. We need to put a desalination equipment there in order to get the water from the sea and put off the salt and use in the process. This is a challenge, but not too much challenge, but it's a topic. We need to construct a port, but is it possible to construct a jetty or flex jetty? And we have to negotiate with local communities there, yeah? Because local communities are ancestral communities, and they are willing to participate in this kind of project. So this is an additional challenge we have, but we are involving them in these kind of projects, and they are recognizing all the benefits for the region. So it's a really nice project for us because it's not only a business, but it's a social topic in the region. This social topic will bring to the region at least pure water, more education, food, and a lot of needs that they already don't have. So we are working with several companies to develop this territory right now. And the idea is to bring at least maybe between 100,000 or 150,000 tons of hydrogen per year from this region until 2030. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is from FEM Energy. FEM Energy is a consortium of European and Latin American companies specializing in renewable energy, P2X technology, and the gas sector. Its presence in Colombia's major ports distinguishes it from other competitors, and it has the capacity to implement large-scale projects with European partners. Based on Colombia's geographical advantages, with this excellent maritime access, it will be a good partner with Korean companies. Today we have Mr. Juan David Lincoln, the objectives presenting the FEM Energy through his presentation on diversification in energy transition. Please welcome him with a big round of applause.
Thank you all for being here. Well, today I woke up with a call of my little daughter, and I just thought, what is going to happen when she gets older? And I thought of water at that time. And I imagined the water of the future being something like this. A water full of CO2, full of carbon monoxide, and which I fear the most, acid pH. But what about this number? 3.3 Celsius degrees. I know everyone that's here knows is a lot. This is the cost of business as usual. This can be a little bit dramatic, but it's kind of what is happening right now. We're burning a lot of fuels, carbon fuels right now, and we are damaging our environment, our seas, our crops, and everything is getting hotter right now. But let me tell you a little bit more about who we are, where we stand, and where we're going right now. Our company haven't started just this year. We've been in the market since 1997. This means we have 27 years of experience on the oil and gas industry, and which is more important in the infrastructure of energy. In 1997, two brothers founded Madigas. Madigas is a strong ESG component company that was founded to bring natural gas for the rural area of Colombia. At that time, the natural gas was already the transition. It was the greenness of the fuels that were in the market, and these two brothers believed in it. Right now, we have more than 50 counties, more than 60,000 users between industrials and domestic consume, and we have more than 2.2 thousand kilometers of gas pipelines that can be used to blend gas with hydrogen, which is more important with green hydrogen. We didn't stop there, and because this is a family business, we expanded to different business areas. At that time, we went to compression systems. We allied with some companies in the US. The company we allied with was Cameron Compression System, which is today General Electric. This is just to mention that we have the capacity to import and to do the translation of the technology from different countries to Colombia. This is very, very important for us because some people will think that Colombia cannot export technology. Well, with this company, we exported compressors to the Middle East and to all the countries in LATAM. After that, we went to two different businesses. We doubled into finances and we doubled into food industry. And finally, and the reason you're here is because of FEM Energía. FEM Energía was founded between the last part of 2022 and 2023 with an alliance with some huge energy companies in Europe. This is to tell you that this is where we stand today, and in 2030 we want to be the biggest green ammonia exporters in Colombia. You will be asking, why is this guy so confident if he's between giants? Well, because we have a giant ally too. We have more than 20 gigawatts in pipeline right now, all around the world, from Spain to Namibia, from Colombia, Peru, Chile, which you know are the most competitive countries right now, to Indonesia. Right now, I'm speaking about Colombia. We have from 1 to 2 gigawatts in development in Colombia, and we believe this is the diamond of the pipeline. I will tell you why. Well, Colombia right now, and as all my previous colleagues have mentioned, is very strategical. We have two oceans, we are a convergence point of the international commerce, and which is more important, we're the fourth most competitive P2X place in the world to develop, for example, green ammonia. And which I find interesting, if you're looking into European market, we have between 80 to 90% renewable penetration, not just wind and solar. We have also hydropower, and we are developing some geothermal right now. And which is more important, we're not starting from scratch. We have already existing routes to Asia. which is cheaper than developing from zero. I will tell you why FEM is important for the Korean market and where we stand right now with our projects. Well, we have all the capacities you can read there. We've been managing explosive substance since the beginning. We have been developing technology. We have the capacity to develop new machines. And, which is more important, we are going in an accelerated pace. We have already our projects with all the land secure, all the water secure. We're negotiating our energy supply contracts. We have run all our studies with the grid right now. We know we can connect to the grid. We know we can develop renewables where we stand. And what we came here to do is to look for off-takers. Right now, you saw we have 20 gigawatts under development. This means a lot of hydrogen. But right now, we don't have all the hydrogen pre-sold. So right now, the thing is we need partners for that. We're looking for off-takers and we're looking for companies. We hope is in Korea, the place we will send our ammonia. And we have the confidence on that. I will tell you why we believe in ammonia and not just hydrogen, because this is a question I've been hearing a lot lately. Well, ammonia right now is the first consumer of hydrogen. It has the potential to scale because we have already a fleet all around the world going with ammonia. Even though ammonia is produced on site, there is a spot market right now. It can be growth. Which is more important, we have already uses for that. Fertilizer, pharmaceuticals, mining, you will tell. And which is coming is both zero carbon fuel, hydrogen carrier for long-range transport, which means if we want to send our hydrogen from Colombia here, we will have to do it in a carrier. If not, we will lose a lot of energy, and this will be nonsense in the business side of view. And stationary power generation, which I think for Korea is a very strategical vector. Well, I will tell you a little bit where we stand as Colombia and as what are we working with Colombian companies right now. Right now we have 50% tax deduction over 50% of the investment, which is very attractive. We have accelerated depreciation of assets from 3 to 15 years. We have VAT exemptions and zero duties in the importing of the different machines and the things that we need to construct this kind of plants. And we have an ambition of having 25 gigawatts of hydrogen electrolyzing capacity by 2050. What are we working right now? Well, as you saw before, we have already a H2 roadmap, but we're working on a P2X roadmap, which means we're working on ammonia, methanol, and different things to show the world what is our ambition and what are the rules for the specific hydrogen carriers. We are working on differentiation of electricity transportation. We believe this is the way to do giga-scale ammonia projects in Colombia. We have the La Guajira, we have different resources, but we need to put the plants where the price of transportation is optimus. And, which is more important, as our colleague just mentioned, we need certification. LATAM is working right now in an unification of certification, so if any company in Korea wants to negotiate, can have the same terms. I believe this is the most important of the things I just mentioned. And last but not least, I think it's the most important to mention what are we looking here right now. I just want to mention that we have a flexible vision, but what are we interested in is to have off-takers and investors. This is, I just mentioned them together because I believe we need to have the same person having the off-take and being inside the project. This is because it will be much more secure for both parts in this kind of business. As you will know, this kind of business are not less than 20 to 25 years to have the off-take secure. This is all from my part. Thank you so much for hearing me. I hope we will change the water of the future. Thank you so much, Korea.
Thank you. Next presentation is from AES Colombia. AES Colombia is a subsidiary of AES Corporation, a Fortune 500 company that is one of the world's largest privately held power companies. AES is committed to providing reliable, affordable, and sustainable energy to its customers. The company is also committed to environmental stewardship and is working to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions. Today, Mr. Luis Saras, who is the International Green Hydrogen the Vice President, will present hydrogen and renewable strategy. So please welcome with a big round of applause.
Okay. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me today here. Can a little bit more? Okay. Here. Thank you. Okay. I am Chilean, working for an American company with a high focus in Colombia. This means that Colombia is a good place to invest, I suppose, right? Then what we will see today is basically a demonstration and a continuation of the concepts that my colleagues have been expressing before in the previous presentations. We will see today something that is real, what we are doing, how we are moving on that. But also it's very important to mention that these kinds of projects that will change the world needs to change the world in a good way. And what we see in this slide is the people that we need to help to improve their life in the future. This will impact communities. I am part of a company that one of their values is to improve lives. Then we need to start here with these people. This is the Wayuu community in La Guajira. And our team is in the middle, working with them as a long time. Then let's see this project, how it has been moving forward in the last time, and what can demonstrate that Colombia is a good place to invest and to have partnerships. Quickly, I don't want to bore you with so much information about the companies, but AES, as we said before, is a global generation company with presence in 4 continents today. We have 32 gigawatts of renewable energy installed, sorry, in total, 32, but we are today building 5.4 gigawatts of renewable energy. This is a big amount of energy, but behind of that, there is another definition. 2025, all of our coal assets will stop burning coal. We want to phase out coal for 2025, and more important, 2040 will be carbon neutral, which means that we need to replace all the gas that we are using also by 2040. I want to go straight to our hydrogen targets. We really believe in hydrogen. It's the only way to decarbonize the industries that are hard to abate, that it's not possible to electrify directly. And the only way to do that is with molecules, with hydrogen, right? Then our vision is today that in order to support this transformation, we need to be in 2030 producing 1,200 metric tons per day of green hydrogen. It's a huge challenge. It's a huge challenge. Means probably about 12 gigawatts of renewable electricity installed. Means probably $20 billion of investment in a very few time, in a very short period of time. But we already started. One of the good things that fortunately we have is that we were working in green hydrogen projects before everybody was starting to speak about green hydrogen, but we didn't know about that. We were working for electricity projects to inject our renewable energy in the grid. And when we realized that this could be useful for our green hydrogen strategy, we switched the projects. Then You see in this screen projects that are under development even up to 20 years before, that today are useful for the green hydrogen. Then quickly, in US, of course, because the incentives that US have, we already made an agreement with Air Products, and we should start building our large-scale green hydrogen projects in the United States by the end of this year. End of this year probably will be the date, the timing to make the final investment decisions. Why? Well, because we have everything there. We have a good partnership with experts that reduce the technological risk of the project. We have Air Products as 100% of taker. We have a market. We have subsidies to accelerate this decision. I think the only difference between this project and the rest of the projects that you see here is the subsidies. But this will be compensated by the market as far as the market starts moving ahead. Because if you deduct the incentives that we have in the US, all of these projects are similarly competitive. Then let me go straight to Colombia now. These are the places where we are. We don't see Colombia in the fourth place. We see Colombia in the second place today. Okay, we have projects in Chile, as you saw before, but we see Colombia very, very competitive. And these positions can change in some way, depending on how the regulatory frameworks move forward. And the Colombian government is making very good decisions about that. It's moving fast, it's putting all the effort, it's supporting the growth of the industry. And this is very important for that. Additionally, you can see that South America can provide about 35% of the global green hydrogen with the most competitive LCOEs. Then probably we will see that South America will be a net exporter. The amount of energy that can produce in terms of renewable energy, Latin America, and in particular Colombia, exceed the requirements for the domestic consumption. This can be exported. The best way to export today renewable energy is to package this as hydrogen and send it out. Then this will be not only a good way to decarbonize the regional countries, but also will be a great support to the decarbonization of the world. Fortunately, we see Korea with one of the highest prices or levelized cost of ammonia or hydrogen in the world. But the important thing is that Korea has a great potential to produce added value products using this hydrogen. And this is where we see a big synergies between both countries, in the sense that all the technology that Korea is developing can be used to our projects in Colombia and be able to send competitive products, competitive hydrogen to Korea in order to continue growing both countries. Briefly, AS Colombia, we have been 30 years in Colombia. That's very important to know exactly the market and the commitment with the market. When we know exactly how the market works and the decisions that we are taking with 135 persons, all of them Colombians working for the growth of the country. We have 1.1 gigawatts of hydro in Colombia and 100 megawatts of solar. And our intention now is to continue growing based on the renewable energies, using that for hydrogen. Briefly, my colleagues previously said that Colombia is very well located. In fact, the distance is not the most important thing in the shipping industry, as probably most of you knows. But anyway, to be in the middle of the world is very well located to distribute this product anywhere, right? Close to any market. And here is when we enter into the project. This is the project that we have. As you can see, this map that is there is La Guajira, that my colleagues previously mentioned. In the northern part of Colombia is La Guajira. We already have a project with these areas that you see in the map, these 5 areas fully identified. We have been working in these areas for 10 years, working also with the communities, with the best winds of the world. La Guajira probably has 55% of net capacity factor, which is one index to define, or one factor to identify how good are the wind resources that you can use. 55 is something very difficult to find. Between 9 and 12 meters per second at 110 meters of high is really good. Difficult to find in other places. Also, the land is very flat. The soil is enough solid in order to have easy and cheap construction costs. And in addition to that, the weather is perfect. It's not so rainy. It's something that allows you to keep building through the whole year. 1.1 gigawatt is what we have today identified. We continue growing. But most important than that, we have already 400 megawatts of land with the easement approved, granted by the communities. This is one of the most difficult parts, to have the community approval in order to move forward. And not only that, we have also 500 megawatts of interconnection secured in the new substation called La Colectora that will be built, as my colleagues previously said, probably in the next couple of years. Then this is reality. This is not a dream. This is not an estimation of projects. No, this is reality. This is what is happening today in Colombia, and demonstrate that projects can move forward. Just to show you, this is 10 years of wind measurement campaign. We are not using methodological data or whatever. No, that is real. It's 10 years measuring with find wind towers and working in the community with 400 megawatts of environmental license granted. Okay. When the people think about La Guajira, think about perfect resources, but also think about the difficulties to get the environmental license approval. And this is because the process, which is in blue down, is the purely environmental approval. But in the middle of that, there are something that is the prior consultation, when we need to go with the communities, 250 communities, different Wayuu communities living there, in, I would say, hard conditions: lack of water, lack of infrastructure, and with, I would say, improving, but poor access to education and etc. Then this is a big opportunity. But they have something which is unique. They have their own legal system, and it's very important to follow these rules in order to be involved and coordinated with the community. We have been doing that. We ran the prior consultation process for these 400 megawatts, and we already have all the approvals, and we have the granted licenses. And for the rest of the project, we are working to have that very soon also. Then this process that you see here is the result of 10 years of work in La Guajira. And I think this will be the door to bring more and more projects and convert La Guajira in a big hub of export hydrogen. That's an schematic description of the project. One of the beauties of a project in La Guajira is that everything is collocated. One of the big discussions that today there are in the world is about the certification. Certification is requiring 3 things mainly. It's requiring additionality. In other words, new energy, new renewable energy requires bidding zone, which means that the electricity, renewable electricity that is produced, you need to be able to really take it to your facilities that will produce hydrogen. If it's not, it's out of the bidding zone. And the third one is the hourly matching. This means that you need to be sure that the hour by hour, the hydrogen that you produce is produced with renewable energy from this additional installed renewable energy. Then how is this project envisioning that? Everything collocated. Then it doesn't matter what is the certification system that is defined. This project will comply with all of them because everything is together. It's additional energy, 250 wind towers approximately, and in the same area, next door is the electrolysis capacity, and beside of that is about 80 hectares for all of this land required for electrolysis, Haber-Bosch process, ammonia synthesis loop, and for the air separation unit, plus the dissolved water. The sea is 1 kilometer from the project, then everything is together. Everything is together. Then it's granted that will be additionality, bidding zone, and hourly match. The intention is to produce 800,000 metric tons of ammonia per year, which is the standard size for a competitive ammonia synthesis loop. What is the stage of that? We have, as I said before, most of the environmental license granted for all the land, and we are now moving forward with the more detailed engineering studies to the rest of the project. And of course, our intention is that is the first green hydrogen project in La Guajira that bring more and more projects and became this a hub for Colombia. And of course, potential markets, all of them. We would like to send that to Korea, of course. And this is the reason why, if we want to do that for these industries that we see here in this slide, that needs to abate CO2 without direct electrification, the only way to do that is to start working today. Why? Because these are not projects that take a couple of years to be done. This is a schematic view of a project, right? In general terms, this kind of projects needs 1 year of pre-feasibility analysis just to understand if the area is acceptable for this kind of projects. After that, feasibility, which is a little bit deeper analysis, and after that is the development phase. The development phase means to obtain the environmental license approval, to run the FEEDs, the front engineering, the front engineering, in detailed engineering, and also to obtain all the permits required for start construction. Then this can take a couple of years, means that you need to take all the environmental data baseline, and in Colombia also we need to run all the prior consultation with the communities. Having this one, it's possible to make a final investment decision. And once the final investment decision is done, then it takes about 3 to 5 years to construct everything. This is a big construction. You can have 6,000, 7,000 of workers in the area. And the relevant thing here is that during the construction period and during the development period, it is possible to create knowledge in the area, give high-quality jobs, make technological transfer, invite companies to instead to start producing outside and sending to have people there teaching, developing. Then this can be an engine to promote the growth of the country and make the project competitive in order to have in return goods with more added value from the developed countries, more competitive. Then, as far as we move through these years, we have to recognize that the hydrogen market is not still developed. We will have a tender here in Korea next year to buy green ammonia. H1 will be, and they will try to buy for 27.7 million tons, 0.8 million tons of green ammonia. But there are no differentiation today between blue and green ammonia. This makes more competitive probably blue ammonia at the beginning. But timing is perfect because the green ammonia projects will be a little bit later than the initial date that this is required, right? But at the same time, through this period, what we expect is that regulatory adjustments happen in the production countries and in the receiving countries. We need clear regulation for what is understood green ammonia or green hydrogen in the receiving countries, and we need to speed the processes in the production countries. And this is happening. It's not something that is stopped. The demand needs to grow in order to have a lower cost of the technology. Today it's crucial that the electrolysis capacity became cheaper in terms of capex. And the only way to have that is with scale. And this is also happening. Probably the IRA program in US will promote that, and the tender that will run Korea next year also will promote that. And finally, technology improvement. We need to see efficiency improvement and innovative solutions, as we have been seeing in this event in H2Meet. We have seen amazing new strategies to improve the efficiency of the hydrogen production. Then, moving along of this period, we expect that the market makes that the green hydrogen became more competitive. And finally, we expect that in some moment, the world recognize the cost of the fossil fuels and start including in their price the effects that the fossil fuels are having in the world. Then will be a mix, I would say, between willingness to pay more and cheaper technology making more competitive the green hydrogen production. Finally, this is the business model that we want to replicate. This is what we are doing in our first project in US, which is basically to reduce the technological and financial risk. These projects will be very intensive in capital. The only way to make them more competitive and bankable, something that Francisco mentioned before, will be difficult to convince the banks to take this risk, because it's true that the electrolysis is something that exists, ammonia also, and etc. But the scale is new. The scale is new. Nobody knows how will work 1 or 2 gigawatts of electrolysis for 10 years, if we'll have to increase the maintenance cost, what kind of strategy for OPEX and maintenance it will be needed. Then there are some risks. But also, the financing industry understand that they can't continue investing and putting money in technologies that are harming the world. And then they are willing, they are keen to put money here with different strategies. But they need to see that in the project are involved companies that has the experience to handle them and have good and strong financial records. Then the best way to do that is to develop the projects, including technological capabilities. For example, what we have been doing in US with Air Products, AES is expert in renewable energy. Air Products is the world leader in hydrogen. Then the technological risk in the production is very low. We are 50% partners in US. And also, it's important for make bankable these projects is to have an off-taker. In US, the off-taker is Air Products. They have strong financial records, they have the market, and etc. If we can replicate that in Korea, something that we are working today, we have been speaking with several Korean companies, probably will be even better, because Korea can provide strong financial records through its companies, but also good technology and a lot of experience building these kind of projects, which are intensive in capital. So we are speaking about $4 billion project with high complexity, involves dissolved plants, ammonia, loop synthesis, renewable energy, electrolysis. Then it's like to have 5 or 6 projects in one. And this is something that is not easy to do, but Korean companies can do it. And there is a perfect synergy here. Good natural resources, technology, financial records. If we can put all of that together, probably we'll see reality on these projects very soon. Then finally, Colombia is a place that provides an opportunity to be the front runners in the hydrogen market, because the resources, because the willingness of the government to support that, and if we can build alliances with developed countries interested in acquire this product, this will produce that we have the front runners in this market. The early COD that we can get in La Guajira is just a matter of agreement. If we can convince Korean companies, or if we can convince any other company that join us and start developing this project, constructing this project today, because today is under development, probably we could reach CODs very, very early. And finally, if we can get companies that cover all the value chain with strong financial records, probably the competitiveness of this project will be higher because the low financing cost. And here is the invitation. This is a reality. This is something that it's happening today. It's the confirmation of what my colleagues said before. It's something that can be done if we cooperate in order to have this ready before the end of this decade. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Last but not least, our next speaker is from EPM. EPM is the acronym for Empresas Públicas de Medellín, which is a public utility company located in Medellín, Colombia. EPM provides a variety of services to the city of Medellín, including water, electricity, gas, and transportation. The company has a number of renewable energy projects, including hydroelectric, wind, and solar power plants, and is also working to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions. Now, Ms. Ana Catalina Ochoa, the head of EPM Planning Unit, will present green hydrogen and opportunity for EPM Group. Please give her a big round of applause.
감사합니다. Hello. Thank you for having us. I'm going to create a brief presentation with some key ideas, provide a general overview. I would like to introduce our company. EPM is a public utility company with more than 44 subsidiaries in Latin America, Panama, Chile, Mexico, Guatemala, El Salvador. And the future, we hope to have a Republic of Korea are the best partner in the hydrogen business. We have 8 business, generation and commercialization, the electric power, transmission and the electric power, distribution and commercialization, electric power, and natural gas, water, and the 8, we hope that the hydrogen. I would like to talk about it's like this. We are focused contribute SDG. For example, I like to see the data in the life. APM is a solid financial company, and we want to invest quality life of the people is the best important for us. But while this happens, we must develop the entire ecosystem and make a true energy transition. APM focus in hydrogen today. We have 4 focus. The first, business plan, business models, ammonia for export, hydrogen for the local market, Colombia. The second, alliance, building alliance, but national and international. Third, demonstration project. We have a pilot at the moment. Pilot project in Aguas Claras, wastewater treatment plant. And 4, Medellin hydrogen hub, a hub focused in hydrogen knowledge. This is our hydrogen roadmap for EPM. In 2030, EPM will be relevant actor in the green hydrogen sector, in the local market, industry and mobility, and the export segment. We have 3 horizons, 2021, 2025. We have a local focus, pilot projects, alliance, local application and knowledge. The second horizon, we have local and national focus, mobility blending industrially. And the third, horizon third, local and national and international focus, export and new uses. This is not our hydrogen roadmap for EPM, but I like it that not only we are talking about data, we're talking about the social hydrogen. It's so important for us because in EPM, we have a purpose, super purpose. I want to tell they contribute to harmony to the life of a better world. It's too important because this have a purpose, super purpose. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, dear speakers. Now we will move on to the Q&A session. The floor is open to the audiences. For those who have questions, please raise your hand and we will give you the microphone. For the speakers who want to answer, please stand up at your place and answer to the question. And also use receiver for the interpretation for English and Korean. 한국어로 질문 주실 수 있는 분은 질문 주시면 좋을 것 같고요. 통역이 제공되고 있기 때문에 한국어로 질문 주셔도 됩니다. 그리고 영어로 질문해 주실 분은 영어로 해주시면 되겠습니다. Is there anyone who have question for the speakers? Any question to the speakers? Seeing none. Yes, please.
Well, after seeing the presentations, I wonder if you can give me, as I am ignorant in this sector, which would be the key technology, that the industry needs in order to become more competitive, that all the 4 companies that presented today needs.
Okay, I can take this. The hydrogen production, the levelized cost of the hydrogen is basically composed by 2 main elements, the energy price and the CapEx, and in particular CapEx in electrolysis is very important. These are the 2 elements. Energy, 60% approximately, 30% is the CapEx. Then, in theory, the first one is to reduce as much as possible the energy price if we want to make this competitive. Means that we have to have access to, depending on which renewable energy we pursue, but if we are for wind, everything about wind generation should be cheaper. But the curve of decrease on price of wind generation has been happening. Probably is today 10% of what was 10 or 15 years ago. And same thing with solar panels. Then 15 years ago, the cost of the energy produced by renewable sources were over $100 in average in the world. Today is below 20 and close to 10. In fact, in some places with some supports has been below 10 at $8 or $9 per megawatt. Then I would say the energy has been doing its job. It's at very low cost today. And in particular in Colombia, we have the best resources for wind and should be competitive in Colombia, considering not only the technology, also the conditions of the La Guajira, for example, land which is easy to construct, right? Then this is one element. The second element is the CapEx, and in particular in one particular equipment, the CapEx of the electrolyzers, related with electrolyzers and balance of plant. This is not said by us as a company. It's said by the industry, it's said by international agencies, it's said by consultants, that if we can get to $300 approximately per kilowatt for all the electrolysis process, we will be able to reach the optimum level to produce hydrogen at lower prices, close to $1 per kilogram. Today, hydrogen production probably is around $4 to $5, but if we can reduce the electrolysis cost from where it's today, which is about $900 per kilowatt, to $300 per kilowatt, probably we will be able to reach in some regions when we have good natural resources for wind and solar to up to 1 kilogram. This is what's expected in particular for La Guajira. What is needed in order this happen is needed that the electrolysis industry gets scale. But in order to get scale, they need demand. But in order to have demand, the final cost needs to be competitive. Then this is a problem it's a problem of the chicken and the egg, right? What is first? And in order this moves forward, incentives will be needed. Probably IRA in US is promoting today the growth of the electrolysis industry. I would say 3 years ago, the electrolysis industry was producing electrolyzers at about $2,000 per kilowatt, and the installed capacity to produce electrolysis in the world were like 300 megawatts per year. This year is about 3 gigawatts of electrolysis capacity installed, and the cost is about $800. Means that already happened like 50% of reduction. We need another 50% of reduction, and in order this happen, probably we need to go to 7 or 8 gigawatts of production of electrolysis in the world, capacity of electrolyzers. And this is happening today. In fact, some reports say that already are equipments that are not enough reliable, but are producing at below $300 in China. Then they have declared that. Then basically, the key technology is the electrolysis. If electrolysis get a point where is able to just use renewable energy with lower utilization factor, so many technical topics, sorry, but if we can reduce that in order to use electrolyzers just 30% of the time, for example, with solar, or 50% of the time just with wind, probably we will be at a point where hydrogen will cost $1 per kilogram. $1 per kilogram is about $8 per million of BTU. And with $1 per kilogram or $8 per million of BTU, this immediately allows that you can replace the fossil fuels in mobility, and you can replace natural gas in peaking plants of electrical generation, and you replace fossil fuels or bunkering in the shipping industry, or you can replace coal in the steel industry. Then this is like a trigger, and what we expect and what we believe, and with high probability, is that will happen in the next 5 to 7 years. Sorry for the length of the answer.
And Luis, one more question. Does Korea have electrolysis technology, competitive and cutting-edge technology in hydrolysis? systems. Which companies do you think or are actually leading the technology development?
When I was kid, all the cars of my city were American. Today is full of Korean cars. Today, the electrolysis is led by European and American companies like Siemens, Nel, ITM, Cummins, and others. And they are doing very well. But we acquired just recently a small pilot from a Korean company to install in Ohio in US. Then I would say yes. In Korea, there is cutting-edge technology that is moving forward very fast, and despite of today are not renowned about the leadership in the electrolysis technology, I'm sure that in a few period of time they will be there. Korea will be there, will be producing. And this is the reason why we are here. This is the reason why we believe that this will move forward very fast. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much.
안녕하세요. 저는 삼성물산에서 온 신정섭이라고 합니다. I'm from Samsung C&T. My name is Andy Shin. 저희 회사는 크게 이제 건설과 그 무역, 컨스트럭션 앤 트레이딩 그 두 가지 사업을 이제 주력으로 하는 회사인데요. 만약에 저희가 지금 설명해 주신 라 구아히라 프로젝트에 참여를 희망한다면 그러면 어떤 형태의 사업을 어떤 종류의 관계로서 사업을 한번 같이 할 수 있을지 만약에 한국 기업과 파트너십을 고려하는 그런 방법에 대해서 좀 한번 설명해 주시면 좋을 것 같습니다.
Did you all use the receiver? No. Okay, the channel is number 4 for English. 다시 한번 설명해 주시겠어요? 잠시만요.
Bueno, básicamente he's explaining, he's saying that you guys all mentioned projects in La Guajira, and he works for Samsung C&T, which is a really famous construction company in Korea. They also developer, and he would like to know what a Korean company needs to do in order to move forward or to participate in a project of the many projects you guys mentioned today. So he would like to know what's the step, the process, like how do you see that you guys could move forward with Samsung?
Well, thank you very much for your question. In case of Ecopetrol side, we have a dedicated department to manage this kind of relationship with the partners. Yeah, unfortunately, this department is led by me. So, what we are making for La Guajira is that right now we are in a pre-feasibility stage, and we are working with a couple of partners right now. What we are expecting is to, in the first semester of the next year, it means between January or February next year, we are going to look for additional partners on that. Yeah. So the first step is to complete our pre-feasibility, to check the basic numbers, and then go with the market to check or to look for additional partners. So if you are interested or your company is interested to support us in this task, please just give us your data or an email, and we can get in contact during this year and look for the next semester. Thank you very much.
저 그러면 추가 질문을 하나 좀 더 드리면 그러면 지금 내년 첫 번째 분기 1분기에 지금 뭐 추가 파트너를 모집을 한다고 하셨는데 그러면 그 파트너의 형태는 어떤 이쿼티 멤버를 의미하는 걸까요? 아니면 이쿼티 멤버로서가 아니라 어떤 사업을 하기 위한 뭐 오프테이커가 될 수도 있고 아니면 컨스트럭션 컴퍼니로서의 파트너가 될 수도 있고 어떤 종류의 파트너를 의미하시는 건지 한번 명확히 설명을 해주시면 좋을 것 같습니다.
Well, mainly we are looking for off-taker partners. Yeah, this is our main intention. But we are not close to talk with contractual partners or EPC partners in addition to that. Yeah, technological partners are also well received here because we really need to join efforts in all the fields we need. Yeah, for example, for a company as Ecopetrol with a several experience managing hydrogen, for us, having, for example, an electrical company as a partner is a good idea. But in addition to that, the technological or EPC contractor could be a partner, but off-taker partner, honestly speaking, is the most important for us right now.
Thank you.
I would like to complement a little bit that. This is exactly the business model that we were discussing in my presentation, to have people that can reduce the risk. Then I would say that, and considering that most of the companies that have, like Samsung, that has a lot of experience building things, also have arms that can trade, right? And wants to participate in tenders here in Korea and etc. Then I think it's a perfect business model. If you can join and add value to reduce risk in construction and at the same time to commit with some portion of the offtake agreement would be great. And if all of that is accompanied with competitive prices for the construction, which is the most important thing, then will be even better.
Thank you for explanation.
Other question on the floor?
Hello, just to complement a little bit more, in the case of FEM, we can have a discussion if you want. We have our founders of Madegas here, which I explained is our parent company. So we have the ability to start decisions here in Korea. So if you're interested on starting any conversation, please get close to us and we will have a chat. Thank you.
Yes, please.
저는 쌍용건설이 자회사를 있는 그 글로벌 세아그룹의 김성수 부사장입니다. 지금 그 방금 전에 삼성에서 말씀하신 그 프로젝트에 그 에코페트롤하고 FEM하고 AES하고 EPM하고는 서로 어떤 관계인지 궁금합니다.
Oh, well, the only relation is that we belongs to the same like commercial camera in Colombia, but we don't have any kind of parent company relationship within these companies. Yeah. Ecopetrol is an state-owned company. It's 85% controlled by the state, and 15% is in the boards in general and in New York and in Colombia also. Yeah. AES is an American company, and FEM is a Colombian company also.
But having said that, I would say one of the things that will need the hydrogen market today is collaboration more than competition. We are competitors naturally, right? Like Samsung and Samsung probably. We are competitors, but at the beginning we are trying to work together in order to develop La Guajira, and I think this is something that will be needed globally in order to develop the hydrogen market.
Okay, is there other question on the floor?
한 가지만 더. 그 아까 그 FEM 프레젠테이션을 보니까 그 5,000 기가와트 아워의 그 리뉴어블 에너지로 돼 있는데요. 그 구성이 이미 다 갖고 있는 건지, 그러니까 5,000 기가와트 아워에 그러니까 하이드로 파워하고 솔라하고 윈드 파워가 있다고 그러는데 어떻게 구성이 돼 있고 얼마만큼 완성이 돼 있고 그 다음에 이제 그린 수소를 만들 때 얼마만큼의 이제 그 그린 에너지 어떤 게 들어가는지 좀 알고 싶어. Okay, let me explain in English. Okay, so as I have seen the presentation of FEM, there are mentioned around 5,000 gigawatt hour green energy generation by renewable energy of the hydropower, wind, and the solar. Then I'd like to know how much figures already done in 5,000 gigawatt hour, and how many numbers of the 5,000 gigawatt hour will be used for the green hydrogen generation?
Okay, I'm right here. To answer that question, Colombia has the blessing, as my partner just said, of hydro. Well, but hydro will not be enough to cover this part, mostly because of the grid congestions. So we will have to do some behind the meter developments, and we are doing it right now. So to answer concisely the question, we'll have almost 70% of that energy from the grid, and the other we will have to have some wind power. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there other question back there?
My name is Won Che. I'm from the Carbon Co. company name. It's actually a spin-off from the DL ENC. It's formerly known as the Denim Industrial Company Limited. It's same as the Samsung CNT, same area. I just wanted to ask about the governmental support issues. Many countries usually to develop these technology, new businesses, always they have this government support. I just want to maybe have some information about how Colombia is supporting these businesses, like a foreign investment and this type of businesses. What kind of plans they have? What are the rates, maybe specifically? It would be great. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Well, first of all, we have here the Vice President of Investment, Julio Puentes, who is the he works in ProColombia, that is the foreign investment agency that promotes investment to the country, including this industry. How they support the investor. First of all, they have offices in the main cities of Colombia, so they are able to give you updated information. Secondly, they also have a legal unit inside ProColombia that are able to answer the initial questions and the initial and have answered to your initial doubts. Once the project advances, they also have a directory of lawyers, so you can choose any of the lawyers that are already in Colombia working in this industry. And they are for surely going to be able not only answer legal matters, but also what is involved in terms of how to start a company in Colombia and all this legal information that is very important once you decide to be there. Also, once you go there, they go along with you in the entire process. They are not going to leave you at some point. Basically, at the end, their KPIs are related with the number of projects that are successfully installed in Colombia. It's one of the best investment agencies in the world. So you are going to have high quality service for in order to help you out with the investment.
Just to complement Mr. Ambassador, in general terms, support from the government for this kind of green projects are extremely related to tax incentives in Colombia. So, well, in total, if you try to make a calculation of how much of these taxes incentives represent in the price of the hydrogen, it's going to be more or less $1 per kilogram. Yeah, so between $1 and $1.5 per kilogram. So, but it's extremely related to tax incentives.
Yeah, I am the guy, Julio Puentes, that mentioned the Mr. Ambassador. Just for round a little bit the answer for your question. When you think in ProColombia, think as a private consultancy firm, but with a much better, because we don't charge the services that we provide. We are completely free of charge because we belong to the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Tourism, and all of the services are confidential. I mean, everything you need to take the decision according with the process that the company has, we are going to be able to provide. For example, if the first thing that you need is, for example, make an investment memorandum to your board or to your immediate boss, we are able to provide all the information that you need to build the investment memorandum. After that, if you need to build a business case, we are able to provide all the information that you need for build the cases, as tax safety, how is to do business in Colombia, how do you hire the people, for example, if you want to be in a process with Ecopetrol, what have to you, I mean, already Francisco explained that, but we can also reinforce the explanation and give you the things step by step in order that you can apply it in a better thing. If you want to explore the country, know the country, try to feel the pulse of the economy or how is to do business in Colombia, we can prepare an agenda for you. Also with the help of the other Korean agencies as Kotra or Koika and the Motier, the ministry, and go and take you, put in a plane, go to Colombia, visit Colombia and feel it. And after that, if you have to take some decisions here in Korea with your board, we'll be able to be here not only with Mr. Ambassador, also with a ministry in order to help you and help the board to take a very good decision. I mean, this is in a very short answer and in a very detailed way, what can we do for you? As Francisco says, we also have a robust ecosystem here with us, which is ANDI, that is a union of companies in Colombia, private institution, that can give you also some information about what is to do business in Colombia as from the point of view of the entrepreneur side. And last but not least, just take the risk. That's mean to do business. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to complete. Colombia is the only country in Latam that has defined a special tax framework for hydrogen projects. So import technology is zero tax. There are a complete scheme, but it's the only country in Latam that has this kind of support to develop the hydrogen ecosystem.
Is there other question on the floor? Okay, seeing none. Thank you all for participating in the Q&A session, and let's move on to the last session, the closing remark from ProColombia. ProColombia is the commercial agency that promotes exports, FDI, attraction, and tourism of Colombia. In addition to its headquarters located in Bogota, it has over 19 regional offices in the main cities of Colombia and 32 representatives' offices abroad. Today we have Mrs. Shirley Vega, Director of ProColombia Korea, who will deliver the closing remarks. Shirley Vega has been the Director of ProColombia Korea since June 2022. Shirley is fluent in Korean and has more than 10 years of experience in corporate strategy, market expansion, startups, and business development in Asia, especially in Korea. So let's welcome the last speaker with a big round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm Shirley, the director of ProColombia. 여러분 안녕하십니까? 저희 콜롬비아 대사관 사무관실지사장 설리라고 합니다. 오늘 대부분 다 가셨으니까 영어로 일단 발표로 하겠습니다. Thank you all for your time today. I think it was a long session, so I will be really short. I think by this time you all might know who are our main representatives and delegation of Colombia here today. So please, I'll mention all of you. For the last one, please stand up. So thank you so much. I will start just thanking the ambassador. I know you are a really busy person. Thank you so much for being here with us all day today. We have our Vice President Julio Puentes from Colombia. He came visiting us. Please say hi to him as well. And of course, I have to congrats and thank the Chamber of Hydrogen, Karen Peralta. Please stand up. Please keep her business card with you because pretty much she has all the connections you need in Colombia in order to move projects forward, in order to make delegations. Like, we are working very closely with Andy and all the associations of Colombia, and we hope to be that link between Colombia and Korea. So she's been a huge help and a huge promotion in all this event for this year as well. And also thank all the participating companies, starting from Ecopetrol. Thank you so much. Please stand up. I think you all know the delegation. You already know how big they are in Colombia. And I will say a little bit about them more later, but I hope you all have their business cards. If you don't have them, make sure you get them before you leave today. And also, well, we have Fem Energy, which is a family group. It's like a Degiop for us, you know. Both of the founders, the brother, the sister, the whole family is here with us today. So it's like having a whole conglomerate Korean group in Colombia. The same feeling. The next one is we have AES, who is from Chile, but who's representing Colombia very well, and I think we all learn a lot from him. And lastly, we have EPM, which is Maria. She's here with us, and is like a really huge company as well in Medellin. So thank you all so much. Thank you all, distinguished members, companies, associations, and everyone who came today, not only today, Tuesday, and the whole week, supporting Colombia in this huge, huge milestone for us, which is being in the H2Meet as a country day, being with a booth, and being able to bring a delegation of Colombia from Korea, which is so far is a huge milestone for us. And I want you to remember that this is just the beginning of the history that we're going to starting from today. So today we don't only, well, I want you to remember that we have a long history with Korea. We know we're brothers by blood. It's a story that pretty much you all heard. We participated in the Korean War a long time ago. We're brothers by blood, and every single Korean company reminds me of that every time I go to a meeting, so please keep that in mind as well. But we also have a really similar cultures, you know, like as you saw, the companies here today are family groups, and they move a huge economy in Colombia, similar to Korea, right? Like we have Korean companies that are a group of families, so we have a lot of similarities. We are also the only, Colombia only has an FTA with Korea. Korea is the only partner of FTA in Asia for Colombia. So for us, that's a huge thing that you should keep in mind. You all were asking about incentives, benefits, government, you know, like tax benefits. You all will have that because you have an FTA with Korea. And Colombia has an FTA with the US, with Canada, with Brazil, with Mexico, with South America. I mean, as you all saw in the presentations, we have the best strategic location to trade. We have great business alliances with all our partner countries and our neighbor countries as well. So please keep that in mind as well. And lastly, well, we are celebrating definitely more than an MOU today. I'm really proud and thankful for all of you for ProColombia because we signed an MOU with H2 Korea, but for us it's more than a document. For us it's a huge milestone, and we will try our best to work hard and to make sure that you all have real leads and real projects from today. Please make sure you have your eyes in Asia with us in ProColombia, and if you need anything from us, we will be here in our office in Gwanghwamun anytime. Our government also is really aligned. We're trying to build the best regulations. As we already mentioned, we have a great regulation structure to promote green economy, green hydrogen, and energy transition policies as well. So we are a country full of opportunities, possibilities, but we all need your support. We need the Korean technology, we need Korean infrastructure, we need your knowledge, and we need a lot of exchange. So we hope that today is just the beginning of a better relationship with Colombia. We hope that you learn a lot today, and we hope that you bother us a lot in the office from next week because you need to know all the details of the projects that we present you today. So yeah, welcome to Colombia. A last reminder, we will have an investment summit this November, third week of November, if I'm not wrong. And we are inviting all the Korean companies to come to Colombia. We will have a hydrogen session in the Colombian Investment Summit. And I'm personally going to bring the delegation of Koreans to Colombia. So please, if you're interested in joining us in visiting Colombia in November, do not hesitate to reach out to me and we will give you all the details. I think it will be a great opportunity for you to visit all the companies that you met here today, visit their actual facilities, visit their feasibility projects, their installations, their companies, and have a good, time in Colombia. Come to Colombia. We invite you to be there. We invite you to learn about our reality. I love how our speakers mentioned so much about their reality today because we dream big, but to achieve a better reality, we need your help. So hope you can visit Colombia this year. And if not, well, we will try our best to come with delegations more often. Thank you all so much today. Yeah, we invite you to build better relationships from today. And 수고 많았습니다. 감사합니다.
Thank you all for your participation. Before closing this seminar, let me address some announcements. If you want to visit the Colombian booth, please visit the Hall 2E-11, and you can meet all Colombian companies. To arrange an extra meeting with speakers, please send us your request to seul@procolombia.co. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for your time and hope to see you in Colombia. 이것으로 모든 세션을 마치겠습니다. 함께해 주신 내빈 여러분 감사드립니다. 저는 오늘 진행을 맡았던 이지수였습니다. 감사합니다.
What is the most beautiful thing about Colombia? What is its true beauty? People are everything. And while sailing a river that runs through the jungle becoming the sea, you can hear more than 65 indigenous native languages. How is a country not going to be beautiful when in it you can taste a different fruit every day of the year? Thanks to the hard work of our farmers who bring food to the table of Colombians and tables of the whole world. We are proud of our 3 mountain ranges, but much more of our cyclists who conquer them in the longest mountain peak in the world. Here, the wind brings an aura of progress. This same wind talks to 1,900 species of birds and tells them which tree they need to reach in order to be seen. Our beautiful islands emerge from 2 oceans, and from our islands, a new union is born. Look at our mountains, and look at the acres that remain to be cultivated. And speaking of green, breathe, breathe easy, because we are a lung of the world. We live in midst of the beauty that changes every day. where the past, the present, and the future coexist in every region. A generous beauty for everyone wishing to see it. Who comes for business ends up staying for pleasure. Who comes for pleasure finds business opportunities. This is our invitation. Come for the first time or come back from wherever you are and tour the country to continue discovering Colombia, the country of beauty.